Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahuri samya sanputoshe.
Namo sadanto suchetoye alahari samya sambuddhase.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. All right, 师父上人，各位师兄，大家阿弥陀佛。这里没有师兄，有各位佛友。That's what I should say. Venerable Master Dharma friends, welcome to our Sutra lecture today. My name is Heng. Today is Sunday, March 29th, here in the Gold Coast of Queensland. It's Saturday night back in California, the 28th. We're into daylight savings in the U.S. Queensland here doesn't have a daylight savings, so our time jumped forward 1 hour. So I hope you all have found us an hour earlier than usual. We're starting at 12:30 from now on here in Queensland. To continue with our Dharma protocol to get the lecture going, I'm going to invoke spiritual presence, that is, invite the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to draw near. So please join me. Furthermore, we respectfully acknowledge the Kombo-Meri people of the Ugambi language region. As traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where our monastery is located, we pay our respects to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 我们恭敬地承认Ugambi语族的Kombo-Meri人是我们这里GCDR所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从来没有放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 billion worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. Wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000劫内，佛法仰望一国中，共振起法界和平，利益报贪恼后得。Okay, well, my goodness, we are back here in the Gold Coast of Queensland. So good to be back after 2 weeks away, traveling through Singapore, Malaysia, Southeast Asia. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to continue Sudhana's visit to an Upasaka named Asha, Upasaka Asha. He's looking around her garden, and the big thing about Upasaka Asha is she's an environmentalist, and her garden represents, it's an external representation of her inner state. So they talk about dependent rewards and fundamental rewards. So we see both of those. It's what is it? 正报 and 义报, they say. So her who she is as a person comes into it big, but we don't get to meet her for a while. I won't spoil it. What we're looking at right now is called the ibao, the environment around somebody who is really righteous. She is a mensch in Hebrew parlance, or is that Yiddish? She's Yiddish. She's a mensch. Hebrew. She's a mensch, even though she's female. Women can be mensches, right?
Mensch is Yiddish.
That's mensch is Yiddish. I thought so. Yeah. So she is that, and so because she's got this virtue, she does things right. In common Chinese culture, she's got yi qi, ta jiang yi qi. She's interested in being righteous, and the result is everywhere she goes, oh my gosh, she influences the environment around her. We'll find out about that later. And then that's the ibao, that's the dependent rewards, and then the actual rewards is her person from her virtue. So it's really a question of cause and effect, but Sudhana, our pilgrim, gets to see that. So we're going to talk about that from the Sutra, and we're also going to compare it to other gardens that also have a sort of a reward, a retribution to them. I'm going to tell stories from Singapore and Malaysia. Today I'm going to talk about Malaysia, but inverted, and we're going to talk about Singapore next time. I spent a week in both places, a little bit longer in Malaysia, and had an amazing time. If you can see my screen, this is the audience, the assembly for the last night in Kuala Lumpur at Dung Bi An, our monastery in downtown KL. You see the energy, the joy of the assembly there. Here's Dharma Master Zhang and Dharma Master Tai and all the nuns from Fayanse, and their big, beautiful Buddha hall there. So we'll talk about that. I've got a song coming up, which I hope you enjoy. Got photos from Malaysia, Singapore, and then we're also going to answer some questions. So if you all have questions you'd like to answer, you'd like me to let's try that again. If you have questions you would like to look into with me together, please do type them in to the chat box, and we'll try our best to. And I've been going into the backlog, into the archive of questions to catch the ones I didn't answer before. Okay, also I want to say how much I appreciate the effort of volunteers who make this lecture go further. There's a Chinese translation happening as I speak. There's a Vietnamese translation happening as I speak. And really grateful that audiences near and far can listen in. Jerry, our fearless coordinator from the US, is in Japan. Maybe he's in Taiwan right now. But in Japan, he found Sudhana images that are not a baby. Look at Sudhana. This is Shansai Tongzi from a Japanese temple on the pilgrimage route that Jerry is walking. Look at Sudhana. He is definitely not a baby. This is taken from the Sutra. In Japan, it's called the Keigonkyo, Huayanjing, and it's a boy. He's a boy, but this is how the Japanese interpret the word Tongzi. He's a pure young man. So a sort of androgynous. His gender is not the important thing. But look at him. I think this is so lovely because you can see the strength, but he's also gentle, and he's seeking. He's a student. He's a hard-working pilgrim on the road. I really like these images of Sudhana. This is the Japanese version of Tongzi. The Chinese see the word Tongzi and they turn it into an infant, like a baby in diapers. And this is not the Sutra's version of Sudhana. I think this is much closer to the actual image, right? Sturdy. He's a walker. He's a pilgrim. Okay. All right, let's jump into our text today. We have a lot of reading to do because, let's review, Sudhana is walking down the road looking for Upasaka Asha, and he's reviewing what he's learned from Ocean Banner, his previous teacher, and he's digesting and he's saying, wow, the good advisor is really important. Kalyana Mitra, teachers are so important. So then we got to the garden, and he gradually travels south till he gets to the place called Ocean Tide, and he sees a garden called Total Beauty Garden. And here's where the description begins, and it goes 1 page, 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, 5 pages and a half. 5.5 pages of description of the garden. Then finally, there's Upasaka Asha, after 5 pages of telling us about the environment. Her quality is visible in where she lives. Okay? So far, so good. If you all don't mind, I would like to just read down through, see how, we'll do it page by page, see how far we get. Right? Let's do the Chinese first. I'll give you a line. So we're going to read a fair amount of text today, and then come back because it's all a description of the garden. Okay. Bigger? 大一点. Is that big enough? 看得到吗? Okay, good. Here we go. Ready? 渐渐难行，志海超处，见朴庄严园，众宝远墙，周杂围绕。围绕 ，sorry， 周杂围绕。OK， 一切宝树，行列庄严，一切宝花树。雨 as a fourth tone, not as a verb, not 雨 rain noun, but a fourth tone. 雨中妙花，不散其地，一切宝香树，香气纷纭，普熏十方，一切宝曼树。雨大宝满，处处垂下。Okay, we're getting there. 一切摩尼宝王树。玉 is a fourth tone again. 玉大摩尼宝，遍布充满一切宝衣数，欲种种色衣，随其所应，周匝腹部。Not done yet. More. 一切音乐数，风动成音，起音美妙，过于天乐。Okay, one more tree here. 一切庄严具数，各欲珍玩各欲珍玩，奇妙之物，处处分布，以为演示。All right, now we've done this portion before, but I want to get the whole garden, okay? So that's maximum enlargement. We're at 136%. There we go. Okay. I'll read it myself. He gradually traveled south until he arrived at Oceantide, and there he saw the total beauty garden. Jeweled walls entirely surrounded it. Jewel trees in symmetric rows adorned it. Jewel blossom trees shed wondrous flowers which spread over the ground. Jeweled incense trees, their fragrance permeating the atmosphere, perfumed the 10 directions. Jewel garland trees rained down huge garlands of jewels that festooned the branches. Regal mani gems trees rained down great jewels that spread everywhere. Jewel garment trees rained down clothes of many colors, according to need, and spread gracefully on all sides. Music trees played sounds when the wind blew. Their tunes were fine and wonderful, and excelled the music of the heavens. Jewelry trees each rained down precious, rare, wondrous gifts, which spread out everywhere and beautified the garden. Okay. Here's the theme. Sudhana's coming to see a gardener, sort of. He's coming to see a lay woman. She is so righteous, she is so kind-hearted and full of virtue that everywhere she goes, she turns the environment into a garden. She is a one-woman exterior decorator. Her presence beautifies everything. And so the sutra is giving us 5 pages of her influence on the environment. Okay. What do we start with? It's a garden and trees. Well, first of all, there's a wall around it, and the walls are made of jewels. And then there are trees in rows that create the shape of the garden. The next thing that we get is descriptions of the trees, all these different kinds. So trees with jewel blossoms drop flowers on the ground. Trees that give fragrance, like sandalwood. I didn't know that most of the world's best sandalwood comes from Australia these days. The quantity of it and the quality of it and the price of it is competitive with sandalwood from places like India. So Australia is a source of first quality sandalwood powder. So here in Upasaka Asha's garden, trees send out fragrance which perfumes the atmosphere in 10 directions. Next, there are garland trees. What's a garland? It's something strung together. Otherwise, it would be separate items, but you can make a garland of flowers, a garland of jewels here, jewel trees, garland trees rain down garlands of jewels from the branches So can you imagine the color when the sun shines through those jewels? Trees made of regal mani gems. So they're monibao, and these are the finest kind of monibao. So they're called regal, kingly. And great jewels come down, spreading everywhere. All different colors, all different quantities and shapes. Now, trees of jeweled garments. So these trees give a quality that you can wear. You can wear the clothes. You can wear as clothes what comes down from these trees. It's amazing. According to what you need, just the right size, just the right color, just the right fabric, and they spread gracefully on all sides. This one I can relate to. Music trees, trees of music, that when the wind blows, the leaves and the branches are not just rattle, 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 but it's actual music. And the tunes are fine and wonderful, and they go beyond music of the heavens. You know how we could translate this? We could translate this as 过于天乐, better than music played by the gods. So the sutra is really consistent as it describes one of the things that the gods do. Gods make music. Of course, there's all kinds of devas make music, all the different kinds of levels of the heavens. The desire realm has 6 kinds, the form realm has 28 kinds, the formless realm has 4 kinds. And whenever there are pictures of devas, they are playing music. Let's see. I'm just going to randomly go out. Musical Apsaras in Dunhuang murals. And what do we get? Here we go. Oh, these are human versions. Not what I had in mind. Try again. Right. So these are so instantly recognizable as Dunhuang flying devas because they're so interesting. Well, somehow they've got humans trying to, yeah. So here is a cave, frescoes in Dunhuang. This is actually a combination of images made of clay on a wooden frame, but also paintings on the walls. And all of these, so if it's an image, there are devas flying above. You can see here. And the devas are playing music, mostly, or they're making offerings of other things. Here we go. I want to show you the musicians flying along, playing music. Try this one. So Dunhuang is a series of caves, and it's out in the desert of Gansu and Xinjiang out there. And the devas that fly are so amazing because, let's see here, Dunhuang mural, Wikimedia. You can see the physics. You can see how the wind is blowing on their garments. Let's see this one, security check required. you can see the weight of the devas. Here we go. As if their weight were, if a deva was flying through the air, this is how they would look, with the right pressure of the weight of their bodies going through the air, etc., etc. Okay, I'm not having a lot of luck showing you what I want to see, but this is a random search. I could have searched it earlier. So, Flying Apsaras painting. Here's a deva, here's a musical instrument. So the devas, what they do when it's time for them to come to the Buddha is they make music. They make music as an offering. And somehow, so my point in showing you this was to say that at some point, did humans see these devas flying through the air? How could they have come up with these incredible true-to-life physics, true-to-physics images if they hadn't actually seen them with their eyes? Question is, was there a time when devas and humans interacted, like regularly? Maybe so. Maybe so. Do we see them now? Not unless you can enter samadhi and open some other kinds of vision. There are lots of Buddhist stories about chakra coming down to test cultivators, to see if they really have kung fu or if they're pretending. So who is chakra? Chakra is the second desire realm, heaven, ruler of the second heaven in the desire realm, called the heaven of the 33, Triastrimsha heaven. He comes down if a cultivator is pretending to be enlightened, chakra comes down to burst his bubble to bring him back down so he doesn't obstruct himself. Or if the cultivator's actually got some kung fu, chakra comes down to confirm it. You pass your test. So that's one of the interactions between humans and gods. Dunhuang is this amazing range of caves in the sand where royal families or people of wealth could hire artists to make these sacred paintings on a cave wall that was the right composition. The artist would put a certain amount he would treat the mud wall, level it off, and then treat it with a kind of a clay that could take the painting, and then he would paint. And the amazing thing is, what was the artist looking at when he created these images? Because they're just stunning. They're really, they certainly aren't just works of imagination. Okay, Dunhuang. Huang murals. I want Wikipedia, please. Here we go. Mogao Caves. Okay, we'll take that. Here we are. If you all don't mind. There we are. So you can see it's super arid out there in Gansu province. And you step inside the caves. They're not all open because the Chinese government has done a really good job of preserving the caves so that more people can see them. If you could go randomly into any cave that you wanted, they wouldn't survive. They would. These are paintings that were done thousands of years ago, and people would use. They're in dark caves. People would use flash, and it would degrade the color. The paintings would have been bleached out. So the Chinese government along with researchers in universities and international group of artists, made films so you can see on the movie screen what your eyes are not allowed to see. And if you show up at Dunhuang and buy a ticket, pay a fee, they will show you a certain number of caves. If you're there as an artist or a researcher, you can actually do work, collaborative work, because there's lots of cataloging, preservation, reconstruction of these images for an international audience. So I had the blessing to go visit Mo Gaoku before COVID and saw things like this. This is Manjushri and Vimalakirti. Let's see if we can, what we got? Here we are. What sizes are they? Oh, this is a small one, so there won't be much to see. Let's keep looking here. Here is a bodhisattva leading a donor to the Pure Land. Interesting, sometimes the painters who were hired by the rich people would paint the donors into the painting. This is one of those cases. This is the headdress, this is the clothing style and the headdress of the woman who paid for the painting in the Tang Dynasty. So this is like 900, or maybe the late 800s. So you're looking at a 1200, 1300-year-old painting. Here's a bodhisattva. Notice the mustache. A male bodhisattva who is helping the donor go to the Pure Land. So fascinating interaction of history and culture. This is the man, the Taoist, who discovered all of these paintings. Happy-go-lucky guy. He was the kind of the librarian all by himself out at Dunhuang. And he opened up the cave and found all these murals, frescoes, statues, and then these scriptures. They found sutras in a room, piled up like this. These are here's a French researcher, Paul Pellicot. Look at the treasures heaped in this room. Because it was so dry, many of them were preserved. If it had been a damper environment, these manuscripts, they're mostly silk, would not have survived. They would have rotted away. So anyway, Dunhuang. The point is to say what? Here are musical trees playing sounds when the wind blows, like a wind chime. And it's not just tinkle tinkle, it's actual tunes. And the music is better than Deva's music. And in Dunhuang, we have pictures of Devas making music for the Buddhas. Here in Upasaka Asha's garden, it's even better music. All right, got all that. What's next? Jewelry trees that rain down rings, necklaces, bracelets, brooches, all the wonderful things that people can put on their bodies to make their appearance more beautiful. These trees in Upasaka Asha's garden contain them. Okay, we're going to go now from what? We're going to go from trees to architecture. We're going to go to the buildings that were here in the garden. We'll do a whole page of buildings. Here we go. 起地清净，无有高下，宇中具有百万殿堂，大摩尼宝，之所合成，百万楼阁，阎浮贪金，以复其上，百万宫殿。毗卢遮那摩尼宝，建错庄严，以万浴池，众宝合成，七宝兰笋， 周匝围绕，七宝街道，四面分布，八功德水，湛然盈满，其水香气，如天旃檀，金沙不底，水清宝珠，周遍见错，浮燕孔雀，聚止罗鸟，游喜其中，出和雅音，宝多罗树，周匝行列，复以宝网，垂珠金铃，未风虚摇，合出美音，施大宝藏，宝树围绕，建立无数摩尼宝床。Okay, last one. 光明普照，百千游巡。All right, we did a whole page of Chinese. Thanks for hanging in there. That's a lot of Chinese. Our tongues would get exercised here. Okay, the ground in the garden was clean, pure, and level. It comprised 1,000,000 halls, fashioned from great Mani jewels, fitted together. Jambunata gold gilded 1,000,000 pavilions inside the garden. Inlaid Bhairochana, Mani gems, decorated 1,000,000 palaces. Railings made of the 7 jewels surrounded 10,000 bathing pools on all sides. The pools are fashioned from multitudes of jewels. Stairways of the 7 jewels fanned out on all 4 sides. Crystal clear water of the 8 meritorious virtues filled the pools to the brim. The water was as fragrant as celestial sandalwood. The bottom of the pools were spread with golden sand, interspersed throughout with precious water-clearing pearls. In the midst of the pools, geese, ducks, peacocks, and kukuta birds frolicked, played, and sang in elegant harmony. Jeweled tala trees arranged in rows extended their branches. Golden bells hung from jeweled nets. They rang with a wonderful chime as they swayed on the soft breezes. Jeweled trees surrounded on a grand jeweled canopy. The light of countless Mani gem banners shone everywhere for 100,000 yogins. She must be pretty special. My goodness. If her physical presence brings about such rewards in the environment, what do you suppose she's like inside? Upasaka Ashram must be absolutely free from false thinking. So just her, the body, just like anyone else, she got a body based on her karma. And what she does with her body brings about this incredible environment as a response. So what's it like? The ground in the garden was clean, pure, and level, not high and low, not dirty or trashy, right? Obviously not. And there are structures for people, 1,000,000 halls with great Mani jewels stuck together cleverly. Jambunata gold, a special kind of purple golden gold, gilded 1,000,000 pavilions inside the garden. So gold is being a precious substance. This is often a feature of the environment as explained by the Avatamsaka Sutra. So when the Avatamsaka gives us buildings, gold is often featured. I remember I was with Heng Chao, my bowing companion, and one day we were talking about Buddha images, and we both said, yeah, we really like natural wood Buddha images, kind of like Japanese style. And of course, Japanese style is not one style, there's all kinds, but we really appreciated like plain wood carving. we went to ask Master Hua, Shifu, how come our images are so often not plain wood, but they got tacky gold on them? He looked back kind of like somebody who drunk pickle juice, and he said, 你们真的不懂啊，阿弥陀佛神经寺嘛，你不知道啊，你还早。He said, you guys really don't understand. Amitabha Buddha's body is made of gold. That's how the song goes. He said, you just don't, you said, bare wood? No. He says, it's gold. He says, keep going, you'll understand one day. You know, clearly he was like, he didn't even want to entertain the question, because Buddhas bring about this retribution, just like Upasaka Asha. Gold is the result. So not only is gold in the ground rare, and that's why it's valuable, but actually gold is a substance. There are people who, when they see gold, their eyes turn red. It's one of those substances that can addict people to it. There's a reason why it's, pure gold, we say, 24 karat. It's a synonym for meaning perfect. Wow, it's really gold. It's all gold. So, yeah, we don't, 你们不懂, Shifu said, you don't understand. You're too young. One day you'll understand. So, Jambunata gold is the finest kind of gold. Inlaid Vairochana Mani gems, decorated palaces. So, a gem, a Mani gem, and a special kind of Mani gem named after a Buddha, Vairochana Mani gems that are inlaid. So, the French royal jewels that were stolen from the Louvre in Paris, I saw them. I remembered seeing those jewels on the second floor in the glass case that housed them. And my thought when I saw them was, wow, what would it take to smash this glass and grab them? Not a very noble thought. I was thinking, ooh, not that I wanted to run away with the jewels, but I was thinking somebody could. And these, you think about the pieces that were stolen. This was big news about, 5 months ago or so. My impression of there was a crown, a diadem, D-I-A-D-E-M. There were brooch that was given to Napoleon's wife and other jewels. My impression was that they were gaudy, G-A-U-D-Y, that is to say, not elegant, and the gold around the crown in particular, because it's a metal, it looked rough. It wasn't, you don't fashion it like, in order to hold the rubies and the diamonds and the emeralds and the pearls in the crown, they were in a golden setting. The gold itself was kind of raw, because it's an actual metal, and you don't, hammer it away to make it smooth. You keep the gold. You just have to kind of curl it around the stones. You don't want chunks of the gold flying off as you hammer it. So it was like, wow, you want to have a crown that's got pearls and rubies and diamonds on it, but when you're done, it looks crude. It looks really earthy and kind of, it's not a fine thing. It's an elemental thing, powerful. And the impression is, oh, that's a lot of stones. And look at that gold. But to say it was like a really elegant thing, nah. On your head, it represents what? Power. Only your head gets to wear all these stones in this gold, like that. And then that was stolen. I remember seeing it and being impressed at how not elegant it was. funny, yeah. Okay, railings made of the seven, that's a totally subjective impression. I didn't share that with anybody. I don't know if anybody else felt the same thing. So, railings, what is this? Architecture for people to live in. Railings made of the seven jewels, surrounded bathing pools. Oh yeah. You want to put your body in water made of the eightfold merit and virtue. The pools were fashioned from a multitude of jewels. Stairways made of the seven jewels. Gold, silver, lapis lazuli, mother of pearl, pearls, mother of pearl, rubies, carnelian, right? 7 things. Crystal clear water of the 8 meritorious virtues filled the pools, and of course you want to jump your body in them. This is just like the Pure Land. Amitabha's Pure Land is said to have the same kind of Ba Gong De Shui. And I won't be able to give you all 8 virtues, but when you bathe in that water, it washes away your karma, it increases your wisdom, it purifies your Buddha nature, etc. The water itself was fragrant, like sandalwood from the heavens. The bottom of the pools spread with sand, and there's a special kind of pearl. It's called a water clearing pearl. Shifu would talk about this. Shui Qingjing Baozhu. Okay, there's a certain kind of pearl that if you drop it into water, all the sediment and the impediments vanish. So there is such a marvelous gem. And then, so what have we got? We've got railings around the pools. The pools are made of jewels. There are stairways. The pools are full of water made of the 8 meritorious virtues. The water is fragrant. The bottom of the pools have these pearls that are special water clear pearls. And then, now that we've got the pools all set up, there are birds that come down to those pools. Geese, ducks, peacocks, and kukuta birds. This because these birds don't exist in China, the translator couldn't translate it. He gave it the Chinese characters. Kukuta in Chinese is juzhilo, because there was no translation for them. And the birds are playing around. The birds are having fun, singing, frolicking, splashing each other. Okay, now more trees, tala trees. Tala is those are palm trees. Those are one kind of tree that the Buddha can get enlightened under. The Bodhi tree is not always the ficus religiosa that Shakyamuni got enlightened under. There are different kinds of Bodhi trees. Sometimes, depending on the Buddha, a tala tree is the one that is the Bodhi tree. Then there are bells hanging from nets. They ring. The wonderful chime as the breezes blow them. There are trees on a canopy, and look at this. There are mani gem banners that when the wind blows, they wave and send out light in all directions for 100,000 yojans. Okay, nice place. I mean, just amazing. To be able to put your body in a place like this, how would you feel? Nice place. It's a blend of, so what have we got? We've got the trees, now we got the buildings for people. And the buildings include pools, so there's water. All the elements are represented here. There's fragrance, there's sound, there's something for the skin, the coolness of the water. There's light for the eyes. Okay. That's only 2 out of 5 pages. I've got 3 more pages of wonders. I was just in an intense urban environment, a city. Oh boy, nothing like Singapore and Kuala Lumpur to show you what humanity has built. Wow, the architecture, the energy, the incredibly impressive structures of those two cities are hard to describe. Outside my window on the 63rd floor was the Petronas Towers. Petronas Towers they were the world's tallest building for a while. They've been surpassed by, I think, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. But look at this. And the buildings around it are not that much lower. And there is the 108 tower, and then there's there's another major tower that stands in the skyline of Malaysia. So you can see, right? This is intense city energy. We were in the Civic Center for sure. Kuala Lumpur is really a 21st century city, and Singapore, if anything, is even more so. So, coming back now to the Gold Coast, I realized that it took me 3 days back before my skin pores could return to their state where I'm surrounded here in the bush of living in the hinterland of the Gold Coast, not far from the ocean, surrounded by gum trees and nature. You can interact with the environment so that you feel refreshed by the air and by the breeze and by the light, and you don't defend against it. In the city, in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, I realized that I closed in, not just spontaneously, it's not a thought, but you build defenses against the noise, the steel, the glass on all sides, the lack of green, and to survive, you have to shut down a lot of the skin. I don't know which organ it is, probably all the organs. And it took 3 days back here before I dropped it and returned to a sense of interacting with the trees and the environment. New York City is 10 times more, with all of the input and the stimulus and all the different kinds of people that you don't know, you don't recognize, you speak their language, eat their foods, listen to their music, share their values, and yet you're sitting on the subway, hurtling underground with noise and speed, and shaking like it. So to survive, you shut down, you tighten up, you lock in, and people don't interact. Singapore and Kuala Lumpur are beautiful cities that have done so much to make them places where people can live. I enjoyed both those places, but they are made of glass and steel and cement and concrete. And as a result, you tighten up just to get through. My body reacted that way. Back here in the hinterland, it's like, yeah. It's just a function of urban versus rural. So we're rural here, we're in nature. So, yeah. And if you never left a city, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't have that experience of relaxing and interacting with the light and the greenery. To get from where I'm sitting right now in the Buddha Hall to my abode is a 7-minute walk where I live. And we go through Every day I walk through a forest area, and I really feel like something in my system is consuming, is that the word? Eating? No. Engaging in the sound and the light. And I think I really feel cleansed, cleaned, purified by it. There's research that says when human beings can get out in nature for a certain amount of time every day, it balances you, it keeps you healthy, it somehow recharges inner batteries that you would never even know that you had if you lived in the city, surrounded by concrete, cement and metal, rushing cars and things like that. So, yeah, just to say, because I get on an airplane and leave the forest and show up in Singapore, and then on to Malaysia, to Kuala Lumpur, and then back, I see these contrasts so suddenly. Right? Now, mind you, Malaysia has incredible nature, beautiful. Cameron Highlands and all of the fields and the forests, but I was in the big city of Kuala Lumpur and in the city center as well. So that contrast was really strong. Okay, we're going to go back to Pasaka Asha's garden, do another page of adornments and marvels from her garden. If you don't mind me just reading as before, let's go ahead. Here we go. 其中富有百万皮池，黑毡檀泥，凝聚其底，一切妙宝，一味莲花，腹部水上，大摩尼花，光色照耀，园中富有广大宫殿，名庄严床，海藏妙宝，一为其地，毗琉璃宝，一为其柱，阎浮贪金，一复其上，光藏摩尼，一为庄严，为数宝王，光焰其然。I'm sorry, my mistake. Let's try it again. 无数宝王，光焰其然，重楼嘉阁，种种装饰，阿耨那香王，觉悟香王，皆出妙香，普熏一切。Okay, we'll stop there for now. Here we go. Black sandalwood powder filtered down and settled on the bottom of 1,000,000 ponds, which sat in the midst of the garden. Lotuses made of wondrous jewels blossomed and spread over the water's surface. Light radiated throughout the garden from grand mani flowers. A magnificent palace named Banner of Adornment stood in that garden. Its ground was paved with wondrous gems from the ocean's treasure house. Its pillars were made of Vaidurya gems. It was covered with Jambanata gold. Storehouse of light mani jewels adorned it. The dancing light from countless royal jewels dazzled and blazed. Multi-storied towers and interlacing pavilions were festooned with ornaments. Regal Aruna incense and regal awakening incense both sent out wondrous fragrance that perfumed everything. Okay. So we've got, let's see here. So we're continuing with the description of the garden in general. There were ponds and powder filtered down and settled in the bottom of 1,000,000 ponds, made of black sandalwood. And there these ponds were. Imagine these fine, fragrant powder on the bottom of the pools. And lotuses made of wondrous jewels blossomed and spread over the water's surface. We have these lotuses right here in the Gold Coast Dharma realm. This is lotus season. They're spectacular. Light radiated throughout the garden from grand mani flowers. Flowers made of mani sent out light, and the lights shone throughout the garden. Okay, that's the end of the general description. Now we get a palace. More architecture. The palace is called Banner of Adornment. The ground around the palace was paved with gems from the ocean. The pillars of the palace are made of lapis lazuli, Vaidurya gems. It was covered with gold on the top. Storehouse of light, mani jewels. That's a name of jewels. What kind? Mani jewels. What kind? Storehouse of light. A storehouse of light, mani jewels. Beautiful name. Adorned the palace. The dancing lights from countless royal jewels dazzled and blazed around the palace. Multi-storied towers and interlacing pavilions were festooned with ornaments. Yes. Now, two kinds of incense, so special they have names. Both send out wondrous fragrance. One is called Regal Aruna incense. The other is called Regal Awakening incense. Regal meaning king-like meaning the best. Primum inter pares, first among equals, that kind of incense. Two kinds. Send out wondrous fragrance, perfume, everything. So, we get all our senses. We get our noses, we haven't had tongues, there's no flavors, there's no food yet. But there's things for the eyes, things for the ears, things for the nose, things for the skin, and for the mind still to come. All of these wondrous, incredible decorations and adornments come from the person of the one who lives there. Her name is Apsaras Asha, and she hasn't even shown up yet. We're looking at what's called the Ibao, the environment called in by her virtue. When we get to Apsaras Asha and it describes her person, that's the Zhengbao, that's the actual rewards for her behavior, her practices. And check out the sutra that says she got a female body by choice. This was not an accident, it's not a mistake, it's not a lesser incarnation. She chose to come back as a woman. We haven't got to her yet, so I don't want to jump the gun. But clearly, the garden that we've heard about so far, is a result of her being an extra special person. She is a real cultivator of merit and virtue. She chose to come back in a woman's body to teach compassion. All right, good stuff. Can we finish? Let's do a little more, and then we will. Okay, we had the two kinds of incense. Let's do this one and this one before we're done today. Okay, one more time. Here we go. 启宫殿中，复有无量宝莲华座，周回布列。所谓照耀十方，摩尼宝莲花座，毗卢遮那摩尼宝莲华座，照耀世间摩尼宝莲花座，妙藏摩尼宝莲花座，狮子藏摩尼宝莲花座。Okay. Moreover, limitless numbers of jeweled lotus thrones spread out everywhere within the palace. Specifically, there were Moni-jewel lotus thrones that illumined the 10 directions. Vairochana, Mani-jewel lotus thrones, illuminating the world, Mani-jewel lotus thrones. Wonderful treasury, Mani-jewel lotus thrones. Lion treasury, Mani-jewel lotus thrones. Okay, what is a lotus throne doing there? It's for Dharma speaking. So the Dharma speaker, whoever it is, will sit on a lotus throne, and we've seen, whenever we see the Buddha, can you all see behind me? Let's see here. I need to share my screen, try it again. Okay, there we go. Put this down. And if I lean over, you can see here is Vairochana Buddha sitting on a lotus throne. Oh, look at my desktop, right there. We've got 3 Buddhas right in front of me here. This is a lotus flower, and the Buddha is sitting in full lotus on top of the lotus. This is not actually a lotus throne, but I guess maybe it is. When you think throne, you think of a chair. There's no chair here, but the lotus flower, you see there's the petals going up and the petals going down. You see it behind me too, the same. Those are where Dharma speakers, probably Buddhas, but not always, are seated. So there are lots of them spread out in the palace. So wait, specifically, Mani-jewel lotus thrones that shine light, Vairochana Mani-jewel lotus thrones, special kind of Mani-jewel. Mani-jewel lotus thrones that illuminate the world, metaphorically because of the Dharma that comes from them. Wonderful treasury, Mani-jewel lotus thrones. And then lion treasury, Mani-jewel lotus thrones. Probably those 2 words you don't see together very often. Lions and treasuries. What is it? It's, you think of Manjushri. Manjushri Bodhisattva sits on a lion, carries a sword, and he is primarily teaching wisdom. He can talk about emptiness without being scary or without himself being scared. Why? Lions are courageous. Emptiness is terrifying. You have to embrace your own death when you talk about emptiness convincingly. Because you too, I too, the speaker himself, herself, is empty and is going to, when the conditions are done, they're going to come apart. That's frightening. It's so interesting, because why? Buddhism is often called Koman, the gateway to emptiness. And emptiness is complete. Even God himself is made up of components and will come apart and will die, metaphorically. So that's not something that every religion dares teach. The Buddha in nirvana, because nirvana is an unconditioned dharma, he doesn't die, so to speak. It doesn't come apart. Empty space and nirvana are the 2 unconditioned dharmas. Everything else in the world comes together and comes apart. Emptiness is that teaching. Not everybody can face it. I remember Heng Chao, Marty, he won't mind my telling the story. There's a Taoist text called the Jing Sutra of Purity and Stillness. And Master Hua gave myself and Marty a copy of the Jing, and it talks about emptiness. Even though it's a Taoist text, it's the cultivation of the actual breaking up of the body. And it says that we come together because of desire. And when you end desire, there's no reason to stay together. That's kind of the glue that holds us together. Marty says that when he read that, he had a physical reaction to it, and his mind rejected it because it explains how we die, come apart, how we don't, the idea that we are permanently like this together is attachment and is ignorance. And he says he had a physical and emotional and spiritual rejection of that teaching because it was too clear. He didn't want to face it. So, lion treasury, lions are courageous. Manjushri, holding his sword, can take us right through emptiness without us being terrified. So they talk about 狮子吼无畏说, the roar of the lion, the fearless teaching, right? So, yeah, how neat that our religion, if Buddhism is a religion, our religion can take us through emptiness to the other side where our vows bring us back intact again, Bodhisattva's path. Cool. More lotus thrones. We got to finish here. We ready? Here we go. Li Gou Zhang, Mo Ni Bao, Lian Hua Zuo. Pu Man Mo Ni Bao, Lian Hua Zuo. Guang Yan Mo Ni Bao, Lian Hua Zuo. An Zhu Da Hai Zhang, Qing Jing Mo Ni Wang. But that's my mistake. That's a lot of line. Here we go. One more time. An Zhu Da Hai Zhang, Qing Jing Mo Ni Wang Bao, Lian Hua Zuo. Jin Gang Shi Zi Mo Ni Bao, Lian Hua Zuo. Tricky. Immaculate treasury, Mani jewel lotus thrones. Universal door, Mani jewel lotus thrones. Lighted adornment, Mani jewel lotus thrones. Pure regal Mani jewel lotus thrones. Resting peacefully, ocean treasury, Mani jewel lotus thrones. And Vajra lion, Mani jewel lotus thrones. Okay, this one is the translator's not happy with that one because it's not, yeah. So, immaculate treasury, Mani jewel lotus thrones, more thrones made of Mani jewels, lotus thrones, universal door, universal gateway to liberation, Mani jewel lotus thrones, lighted adornment, or adornment of light, decorating by light, Mani jewel lotus thrones, and this one, which I think probably our translator had trouble with. Let's go from the end. Lotus throne, Mani jewel lotus throne, ocean treasury, Mani jewel lotus throne, resting peacefully. That phrase doesn't fit. Pure regal Mani jewel lotus thrones that rest peacefully on ocean treasury, Mani jewel lotus throne. I think probably they left out the preposition here. Anju, resting in peace. Big ocean treasury. Pure Mani jewel king, regal lotus throne. Okay, so all that together. Okay, now we have covered 2.5 pages more of the description of the garden. We haven't even come to Pasca Asha yet. Next we get curtains, then we get nets, then we get lights, then we get decorations. More to come. And then a description of the gods and the goddesses who were delighted by it. Okay? So that is next week. More to come. What I want to share is some pictures from Malaysia. Hold on here. We'll get to Singapore next week. Here is one of the posters for our event. The title was Connecting to Our Roots, Stories of Venerable Master Hua's Teaching for a New Generation. The idea being many younger cultivators, people who come to the monastery, never saw Master Hua, never heard his voice, and they want to. So we had a book that we wrote in 1978 while doing the Three Steps One Vow pilgrimage, which was also added to by a Shramanarika, Guojing, who was a Stanford trained journalist, who gave us the physical view of where Shifu went, what he said, who he met, the reaction to his talks and such. So, Jin Chuan and Jin Wei Shi, two younger monks, had video cameras just like GCDR. They set them up here in Gold Coast and recorded stories of Shifu. Likewise, we did the same, but the topic was what Shifu did in Malaysia back in 1978 in his first trip. And I was happy to say that I first set foot in Malaysia 48 years ago, almost half a century, and had a chance to watch Shifu in person guide us through all the different towns and cities from north to south, east to west in Malaysia. Now, one of the really fun parts of this trip was, in the past, as I've told stories about Malaysia, I often said, oh, there was a layman whose name was Huang Fengbao, who guided the lay people, who met us at the airport at Hemingsi, and then brought those lay people to City of 10,000 Buddhas for the grand opening back in 1979. The end of Three Steps One Bow pilgrimage. There he was with K. Sri Dhammananda, the chief, the venerable monk from Brickfields Monastery. So I often talk about Ong Feng Bao. Well, guess who showed up at a restaurant? Ong Feng Bao, a man I've known now for 48 years, and he is in his 80s, 87 now, and he came out to tell in person what it was like to meet Master Xuan Hua. There he was. And Ong Feng Bao is one of these guys who can really talk. He's got the old-fashioned elocution, Dharma, down really well. So there he was in the restaurant. We had lunch with him, hosted by the YBMA, the Young Buddhists of Malaysia Association. And we said, oh my gosh, there's Ong Feng Bao. We invited him back to go to the monastery, Dongbian, to speak at night. And oh, he was just so charming, and he not only gave a talk, but he sang kunshu. He sang Chinese opera for us. So, what a guy, what a showman. So here's Ong Feng Bao.
来之前，我有去金马伦的三宝万佛寺开光，在开光的时候啊，有那个槟城的竹摩长老，他跟我说，有一个美国来的和尚，他会讲华语的，他现在就在图书馆那边，你法会过后呢，可以去见他，问他。所以过后我就依教奉行了，去见这个，那就是恒观法师，所以他跟我因缘很深的。那么就讲了，他说他是这个美国万佛城的宣公的徒弟，但是这个宣公呢，他年纪很大了，他不大愿意出门，他很有道德。他在讲经说法时候的天降甘露哦。
So he's saying there was a monk, a famous monk in Malaysia named Master Jumo, who was at a Fahui and said, you know, he said, there's an American monk who's now in Singapore, and he living in a library, and we should invite him. You know, he speaks Dharma. He doesn't go out, he doesn't leave America very often, but when he does, when he speaks Dharma, the gods send down sweet dew to welcome his Dharma. So you should invite him to Malaysia.
他这样讲啊，我是引用他的话，叫哎呦，我非常的感动。他说，但是如果是很多人去请他来的话呢，恐怕他会来。所以呢，我就法会过后呢。这个恒观法师啊，就我来到吉隆坡，他就住湖滨精舍，他的已故长老博元长老就挂档，他就放他的这个幻灯片，讲这个法界大学，Dharma Buddhist University， 也给他看怎么样，希望很多人都知道这个大学，能够去那边进修啦，就这样。所以呢，我就开始就联络这个精明长老，他就用佛教总会的名盖章，然后很多佛教的团体，各州的就盖章。所以你说是谁主办？不是佛教总会主办的，是我们很多佛教团体联合起来主办的。
So he's describing actually one of the previous monks, Heng Fasher, was in Malaysia, and he says that Heng showed some slides of Dharma Buddhist University, and he was staying with Boyan Fasher, another really distinguished elder monk in the early days of Malaysia, the Mahayana monk. And so they said, well, let's invite Master Hsuan. So a lot of different Buddhist groups came together, and Master Jinming, who was another, he was a honorary chancellor of Dharma Buddhist University later. Master Jinming was a wonderful monk. He had the chop, the authority under his auspices to invite Master Hsuan to Malaysia. So he chopped all of the various Buddhist groups who came together and under their strength invited Master Hsuan to America. I'm sorry, to Malaysia. Invited him to Malaysia for the very first time, 1978. Okay, so this is a priceless interview, and this is at the restaurant when I first realized that Ong Feng Bao was still going strong, and we invited him later that evening to come to Dongbian to give his talk. And basically he repeated at night what he said here in the restaurant. We captured it. This is my phone. I just grabbed this interview. So in the time that I have here, I want people to hear Ong Feng Bao's introduction to Master Hua, because he tells some remarkable things that he saw, including the amazing story of how we arrived in Malaysia 15 hours late. Having sat in the transit lounge in Manila, we took Philippine Airlines, which at the time, certainly they've improved a lot, but at the time, Philippine Airlines, this level of service had us scratching our heads a bit. So Ong Feng Bao and all the distinguished monks were in KL waiting for our plane to be on time. We were sitting in Manila 8 hours, and we kept going up to the counter and saying, what's the holdup? How come we're still waiting? And the answer from the service attendant was, he said, equipment malfunction, he said. So we're not a Shifu equipment malfunction, he said. So another 4 hours passed. Go ask him what's wrong. What's wrong with what kind of equipment malfunction? The attendant goes, there's no airplane, he said. A big equipment malfunction. So we finally got there 15 hours late, and some of the greeting team, including a lot of the laywomen, Rosalind, Kongwaling, and others, had already gone back home and returned to the airport. 15 hours is a long time to wait. Some of the people had just waited. So we arrived, and everyone was really happy to see Master Hsuan and the delegation. So I had come to Malaysia this time prepared to tell my end of the story, but to find Ong Feng Bao, who was on the other end. He was on the receiving end, and he talked about that first night at the Zhonghua Dahui at the Chinese Cultural Center, what the effect of Master Hua's speaking Dharma was. Really powerful. Now, we were in Malaysia at Hari Raya, at Eid al-Fitr, which is a major celebration in the Islamic calendar. So for Muslims, This is the end of Ramadan, and so all of these, the energy was there at the same time. Everybody left Kuala Lumpur. Everybody went home to see family. So we had a lot of the city there on our own. Here was the Chinese poster for our events, for myself and for Jinchuan and Jinwei. Jinchuan and Jinwei Shi did a tremendous amount of work in speaking Dharma, in being Wenos at Dongbian, in leading meditation classes, and researching high and low in Malaysia and Singapore the care facilities for aging monks and nuns. So geriatric care for the Sangha has really established itself in Singapore and in Malaysia, largely under the leadership of Guangpin Daohashang, Master Guangpin, who is currently the president of the Malaysian Buddhist Association. He has set up these free institutions where elders receive first-class care in a Buddhist context. They're allowed to chant, they're allowed to hear the Buddha's name, their diet is carefully supervised for vegetarian eating and all. So Jinchuan and Jinwei were there to study that as well. I also gave a talk to the youth at Fayuan Si. I gave 5 talks at night, and then 3 lectures during the day, and then this class. So really busy, joyful experience in a Buddha hall that looks like this, right? Talk about adorn, spectacular. This is the Buddha hall at Dongbian, and Jinchuan is setting up the cameras for the talk. So I'm out of time for now. We didn't get a chance to do any of the questions, and for those who are afraid that maybe monks would starve, let me show you lunch at Dongbian. Right? Vegetarians do pretty well. You can see, right? Dish after dish. Now, this is a place, Dongbian, this monastery in the civic center, is a place that serves 800 vegetarian meals a day, every day, to the public for about $5. There's also durian. Yeah, look at all the different flavors of durian. Luckily, in a picture you can't smell it. There are restaurants in Malaysia where you're not allowed to bring durian in. It's so fragrant, right? This is lunch at Dongbian. So one of the features of this monastery is they have what's called a canteen, which is a restaurant behind the monastery. And office workers, bus drivers, ordinary folks can walk down the side of the monastery into the canteen and for a very minimal charge take their pick of 20 different vegetarian dishes, including takeaway if they want to. It's done really, really well. On Fridays and on Sundays, it's free of charge. So just an amazing facility that this monastery provides. And if you go out to their the equivalent of Yelp reviews or the Google Map reviews, everybody says best vegetarian food in downtown Kuala Lumpur is served by this monastery. So that's another aspect that I think is unique among our various monasteries worldwide, our 28 different places, is this canteen, vegetarian meals for very little money, free twice a day. On the free days, the 2 days of the week for free, it's first come, first served. So there's no guarantee if you get there late there's going to be any food left. But the quality of the food, the cleanliness, the choice of all the different dishes is really remarkable. So that's one of the features of our monastery downtown. Okay, time is up. Next week I will get to your questions. Thank you for posting more stories from Malaysia, including where to find the talks that we gave on YouTube and stories from Singapore. All right, that's going to do it for today. Let's dedicate merit. Let's see, I need to change this. Hold on here. One more time. There we go. So we definitely, this world can use some. I heard an interesting perspective from the Chinese 5-element theory. They say that this year, being a fire horse year, the rest of the elements, there is no water this year. Among Wu Xing Xing, there's no water anywhere in the rest of the horoscope. So what that means is lots of action, lots of activity, and very little compassion, very little sense of the human element. So the humans have to provide it themselves. We don't get much help from the universe during the fire horse year, this year in particular. So dedicate merit wherever you need to spread some water. Cool us off. If people hear and see how hands and hearts find in giving unity, they are miles away to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. Sorrow, leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and We will conclude with a chance to bow to Guanyin Bodhisattva. You're welcome to join. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. That's it for today. We'll see you all next week. Amitofo. Bye-bye now.